Hey, welcome back to another edition of Everything Football 62. I'm your host, Jonathan Big Tech Johnson, a.k.a. Uncle Tex, a.k.a. Professor Tex. Before we even get started with today's show, I'd like for you to subscribe to the page, smash that like button, and tell a friend or two about the channel over here, man. And we're going to get into it. Yes, you already see the title of what I'm talking about. Look, let's do this. Let's do this first and whatnot. Let's do this first. You're talking about Brett Favre. You're talking about one of the top 10 quarterbacks to ever play this game in the 103 years of his existence. You're talking about someone who is an 11-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro, 3-time second-team All-Pro, 3-time MVP, league MVP, and Offensive Player of the Year, 2-time Burt Bell Award winner, Hall of Famer, All-90s team. Okay, Brett Favre's enshrined in the Hall of Fame. He's immortalized in the Hall of Fame. He's immortalized in Lambeau Field, Green Bay, and all of that. Okay, let's get that straight. But let's stop thinking. I said, and this is what irritates me with sports shows and whatnot. This is why I'm only doing this show because somebody asked me about it, and I was just like, I ain't really too interested in doing that. But I'm like, no. I'm going to go ahead and do a show on it. And I'm doing a show on it simply because to show that you do not know these athletes. That person, it's like you're reporting on a person that's doing their job. You do not know this man like that. A few people, I'm sure, do that played with him, or that if someone reported on him a lot and he got close with their family. But that's the difference. Say, yeah, I know him. And there's another, yeah, I know that joker. Completely different. You don't know Brett Favre. See, the only thing Brett Favre is not going to be his image. What image are we talking about? Because his NFL image is fine. He's a legend. John Madden talked about him. He's a gunslinger. They've written books about him. He's done this. He's done that. His football aspect of everything is fine and whatnot. Now, let's do this as if we didn't know this. The different controversies with Brett Favre that he's had over the years. In 96, he was temporarily banned from the NFL drinking alcohol after he admitted to addicted to Vicodin. He went 46 days in that of a drug rehab. His condition was serious enough that he had potentially deadly seizure. The sexting thing. Old girl just popped up about this stuff here, about the sexting thing here lately, because of course this whole thing has to do. I might have jumped the whole thing of the welfare fund scandal, or diversion of funds for volleyball and the bioconvention, no-show speaking fees, and all of this stuff. All of these different things Brett Favre's going on. But we already, by his playing days, he had this couple of things that happened to him there. And these other things have been going on for the past couple of years. Lord knows how long he's been doing these type of things. But why is everybody in outrage with Brett Favre? It's like they call him they call him the welfare queen, or all these other different terms that they tell him, because he's supposedly taking money and doing all these other things with and whatnot. Where's the angle on a billionaire professional sports team owners reaching to taxpayers' wallet and subsidize a new stadium they could afford to build on their own, or what different things like that, or about what is his role in this whole thing. And I'm like, well, I really don't. I mean, I don't care. The wealthy exploits poor all the time. That's nothing new. That's nothing new. And like I said, all of the different controversies, it's always been things kind of somewhat going on with Favre anyway. So lawsuit filed Mississippi legislators Favre orchestrated the diversion of federal welfare funds to non-welfare related causes. On September 13, 2022, Mississippi published his involvement to divert $5 million of money toward a cause championed by Favre, a new volleyball facility at the University of Southern Miss, his alma mater, where his daughter played volleyball. The text messages had been entered as evidence as a part of the civil lawsuit, and one of the text forwards asked, if you were to pay me, is there any way the media can find out where it came from and how much? Favre helped arranged for $2 million of the funds to be invested into a biotech startup in which he had already invested. Sounds horrible to everybody thinking about this. You don't know Brett Favre as a person. All of the accolades that I read about and that I said, his 186 victories, his 500 and some odd touchdowns, his Super Bowl victory, and all of the memories that he leaves and whatnot, that part of the legacy is intact. His football, they're not taking his damn bust out of Canton. Because if you do that, you're going to open up a Pandora's box for a lot of jokers. Because again, that's why on my channel, like I said, with everything football, I deal with nothing but football. I don't really care about these guys in their personal life because of their personal life, because in the end, that's their job. Once the job is over with, then there's them. They got problems like everybody else. They do cruddy shit like everybody else. They're probably difficult to live with like everybody else. Their children bug them like everybody else. Their wife bugs them like everybody else. You follow what I'm saying? Is the only thing is you have wiggle room, and financially you're pretty much set. But other than that, you still have the same problems everybody else has. And we elevate these people. We elevate these people to such heights. We elevate these people to such heights, to the point where it's like, so when something like this happens, we act like this is going to be this thing that's going to happen with them. And it's not going to happen with them. Nothing is going to happen to him. They're going to talk about him. Stephen A. Smith's going to rant on him. Shannon Sharp's going to rant on him. A whole bunch of people are going to rant on Brett Favre, the human being. But they can't rant on him about the football aspect of it, because one has nothing to do with the other. Now you can say, well, he made money in the NFL and became extremely rich and wealthy and all of this type of stuff, but that has nothing to do with anything. His legacy is going to be just fine. It's going to be just fine. Now, his personal character and all that, if he does some time, even if that happens, but all that other stuff, nothing's going to happen. Nothing will not happen to Brett Favre. They slap him on the wrist. They're going to say this, say that. He's going to hide for a little bit. Come back, I'm ashamed, and this, that, and the other. But as far as the Brett Favre, the football player, that legacy ain't going nowhere. That legacy ain't going nowhere. His legacy is just fine. Will he have to deal with all this other stuff and negative publicity down there? Yeah, he's going to have to do that. But Brett Favre stays on 1,000 acres somewhere out in Mississippi somewhere. Brett Favre will be doing just fine. And nothing is going to happen to Mr. Brett Favre whatsoever. You follow what I'm saying? I mean, because, like I said, his football legacy is intact, it's fine, and it's not going anywhere and whatnot. But like I said, these sports shows, they need to give it a rest of all of the things that's happening in sports nowadays. And you have these reporters, and this is why it's a good thing about a lot of people who's reporting on different things. When you see all this stuff going on with Ime Udoka, the guy, the Celtics guy, and then the broad from ESPN, now how she's kind of dumping on him, and nobody's giving, there's no responsibility for the other person that was involved in all that. And anyone try to cross over and talk about that, but I'm just saying, because she's getting ready to take a hit, because again, they report and talk about sports figures, and then it goes beyond that, because deal with the sport. I don't want to deal with the personal person and all this, their personal issues, because they're human like everybody else. And now she's getting ready to feel the wrath on, no, we're getting ready to pull it out on you. So everybody's getting ready to start gunning at her. And that's the difference when you turn the mirror back on yourself. So I deal with Brett Favre, the football player, one of the top 10 quarterbacks, extremely fun to watch in the whole 9 yards. What Brett Favre is as a human being, as a person, half these people that reported on him for over 20 years that he played don't know nothing about that guy. They don't know anything about him. They just know the football aspect and a little sneak peek that he would give them every now and then. You don't know how that guy thinks. You know nothing about him. So why are you surprised if anything like this happens? You know why? Because you don't know him. And fans and whatnot need to stop acting like they know these guys. You know his game. You may know what he's going to do and how he reacts to certain things because you watched him for 20 years. But you know nothing about this guy. You know nothing about him. You know nothing about these people. So just enjoy the sport and know his legacy is not going to be tarnished. Not about sorry to say, but his legacy is not going to be tarnished because it's Brett Favre and he's immortalized in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And like I tell you guys all the time, there's no GOAT, there's no greatest of all time as long as time is still going on. And like I say all the time, numbers don't lie and get emotional. People do. You guys have a good one.